So we're in the last days of update 43 and update 44 is just around the corner, but I do have a question for you guys, and that is, did you guys notice that the Bloons Solver got nerfed? So the nerf that I'm talking about is the Bloons Solver losing 1 pierce. Now this is a little bit of an interesting one because you cannot just take away 1 pierce from the Bloons Solver, at least how I'm looking at this thing, because if you guys know how the Bloons Solver works, it shoots 2 projectiles, not 1. I think this might be a surprise for a lot of you guys, but yeah. So if you're taking away 1 pierce, you're essentially taking away 2 pierce because it should be minus 1 pierce from each projectile. So I think if I'm correct about this, it's minus 2 pierce in total for the 5th tier, and then they also reduced the price of the glue splatter, which is about $1,000 on hard mode nowadays, but they also took away 1 pierce from it as well. So this tower is now, well, it shouldn't be a lot less pierce than it used to have, so because it's a super fast stacking tower, the pierce shouldn't be noticeable. That's why I'm asking you guys, did you notice that this thing got nerfed? Because I don't think most of the people did. And then another change which is really interesting is that if you combine the 4th tier, the Bloom Liquefier, with the stickier glue, the glue puddles that it spawns are now going to last for 1 additional round, which is really interesting. So now we're going to test both of these things. We're going to see if the pierce nerf is noticeable, and then we're also going to go for the bottom crosspath, which means that our solver is going to be leaving these puddles which are going to stay on the track for much longer. So let's see if that's going to do anything. I also opted for Rosalia. I want to take, this kind of a newer tower approach with this thing, because Rosalia is, I'm going to use the laser, by the way, so the lasers are very good versus Moab class balloons. So the idea is that we're going to be pushing back the Moab class balloons with Rosalia, and then we're going to be dealing with the small balloons with the Bloons Solver eventually when we get the money for it. And we're going to need to use the ability. Are these guys going to land in time? Yes, they are. Very good. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue with this one, is that if you go for the 502 Bloons Solver, that's probably, that's at least my preferred crosspath, right? But the problem with it is that it doesn't have enough pierce, and so they did kind of, try and add a little bit of extra pierce to the Dissolver and to the Liquefier, but it's still not enough. Like, you need the extra attack speed from the Solver. So that's where we're struggling versus these small balloons. I think it's a great time to switch to the cannon attack actually with Rosalia, so that we can deal with the small balloons, and then when we get to these guys like the Dissolver and the Liquefier, then things should be a little bit more easy. But let's just go like this. So I'm trying to get the money for the Dissolver right now, and look at this thing. So you guys see how there's a little bit of a green projectile flying? That's because the Dissolver adds +1 pierce to its attacks. Yeah, so even though +1 pierce is nice, this thing is just not gonna be able to hold on by itself, right? So for example, we have a bunch of pink balloons, and look at this thing. We have to switch to the bomb attack, and also we're gonna have a bunch of pinks from the next round. Is this gonna be enough? Let me just use the ability. Am I gonna, yeah, we're sniping that barely. Yeah, I know this is not gonna work. We're actually leaking on this one. Okay, so we actually have to micro Rosalie on this one. So after the rainbows are done, I have the bombs now. Now the problem is that after these pinks are done, we have to switch to the lasers, and we have to switch to strong, because none of these attacks, well, the glue can deal with the black balloons, but Rosalia's bombs cannot. So we have to go like this, and then I'm gonna switch her back to first, and I'm gonna get the bombs now, and I think that should be, yeah, there we go. It's as simple as that. But you have to micro Rosalia, guys. A little bit of micro has to happen. And now this is the round that I was kind of questioning if we're gonna be able to defeat these guys, because this thing just simply doesn't have enough pierce. So we have to switch to the bombs from Rosalia, which actually do a lot of damage, it seems like. Okay, so round 39, we're gonna have the Moab in a second, but so here's what I'm doing. We have a bunch of zebras, so I have Rosalia on last, and I have the laser just because we need to deal with these zebras. And now I'm thinking, am I keeping her on last just for this specific round? Because we seem to be doing very well. So the laser is just like this straight line projectile, so it's not gonna create too much of a mess. And then I have the glue set on strong, and it seems like, oh no, we're leaking a little bit. Okay, you know what? Let me get the Liquefier. Let's see how much of a difference the Liquefier is gonna make, because now we're gonna start seeing these puddles, and maybe the puddles are gonna help out in defending these guys. So we should have done this thing from the start. It's a little bit risky because I'm not sure how we're gonna deal with this Moab. So I know that we have a little bit of a pushback. So let me switch to the lasers. Yeah, look at this thing. So it's still leaking a little bit. It's good, but again, it's missing pierce. That's what this thing is missing. But we deal around 39, so let's see how we do versus the Moab. I'm gonna need some pushback from Rosalia. Are we gonna get it though? She needs 10 attacks in order to activate it. So oh, we have the level 7 ability actually. Maybe we can do that. Let's see if we can deal with the Moab without it. And now the Solver goes in. Well, not the Solver, the Liquefier, and bang, there it is. So as soon as you see these ceramics, I mean, it's GG basically for the balloons. Okay, so let's go like this. Let me get a village. I'm gonna start with the radar scanner. We're gonna need the primary training as well. So I'm gonna give this thing +1 pierce, and then I'm gonna get an alchemist for both Rosalia and the glue. And look at these puzzles, guys. So these are the puzzles. This is basically the new change, and these guys are gonna carry over to round 44. Yes, there we go. So this is the new change. So how good are these puzzles? I'm not exactly sure if the 4th tier puzzles are good, but I think that the 5th tier, the Bloons Solver ones, are actually a lot better. They do a decent amount of damage, I think. So when a Moab class balloon like kind of bumps into a few of them, I think just the entire Moab layer gets popped, which is really nice because it adds some Moab popping power to a tower that normally doesn't have it, right? And look at this thing. So round 46, leaving a bunch of these puzzles on the ground because it's only 45 ceramics, and now these normal ceramics are gonna walk into, and oh my god, this thing is just melting them. Yep, very good. So keeping it strong for round 49, we're dealing with the ceramics and the small balloons actually. So yeah, these puddles are definitely dealing with the left, or like the greens and all the small balloons that are coming out. So we're not exactly 100% dealing with them, but let me just go like this. Let me move Rosalia like this. So I have the lasers equipped. We're sending her on strong just because we need her to deal with the mob class balloons, and that's about it. And the liquefier is going to take care of the ceramics. Okay, so let's see how we do now versus these mob class balloons. So Rosalia deals with the mob layer, and then yes, there we go. And the liquefier just deals with the ceramics, and bam, bam. It's still, you know, it's still missing a little bit. It's not as consistent, but it's good enough. Yeah, so these two seem to be a really interesting combo. Rosalia deals with the mob class, the liquefier deals with the ceramics. I mean, it's going exactly as planned, I'm gonna be honest. So as long as we pop this one, and then if you pop it in time, if you pop it in this guy's range, I am doing a little bit of Rosalia micro. Maybe I should leave her like here in the middle, like in this bend, and that should be fine. But I kind of want to be, you know, I'm trying to be proactive with this thing. I'm not just trying to leave her in place to just let her do the work. But look at how many puddles we have. These are all from the previous round. This is getting interesting with the puddles actually. I want to wait for round 63, and I want to see if a liquefier by itself is going to be able to deal with all of those ceramics. And I'm actually going to move Rosalia out of the way because she might create a little bit of an issue. You know what? Let's deal with 61 first, and let's chill with 63. So if I get the bombs, these bombs are not dealing with the zebra silent thing. Okay, so we might need to use the level 7 ability. Okay, let's use the level 7 ability because she is going to be pushing back these mob class balloons, but also doing a little bit of cleanup because she does use both of her weapons while she's flying. And maybe I should switch the liquefier to first just because, you know, there's a little bit of these leftovers hanging around. So maybe we deal with the leftovers as well. I see some puddles getting spawned. They're doing a little bit of damage. I mean, it's kind of fine, I think. Yeah, you know what? Let me actually redo 63, but let's do it correctly this time. So I have the liquefier on strong. I feel like this dog monkey, and it's just not doing us any favors. So the idea is that the liquefier attacks the ceramics, and it attacks them while they are at ceramics, because once these ceramics are popping, we have an issue. And it seems like it's not going to be able to deal with all of them. So yeah, there we go. We have full ceramics leaking. Okay, so let's go like this. Let's use the Rosalia level 3 ability onto the first wave, and then hopefully we get it back. So hopefully this deals with these guys. So it doesn't pop. Yeah, it doesn't pop black balloons, by the way. So yeah, we're going to need the glue to deal with these guys. We got a decent amount of puddles, it seems like. Let's use the level 7 ability now for the second wave, and I'm looking at the cooldown on the level 3 ability, and this thing is not coming off. Oh my god. So I'm gonna need this, what was this ability called? Flight boost, I think it was. I'm gonna need the flight boost to stay on for this wave as well. Is it staying on? No, it disappeared. Oh, come on, dude. Is this still gonna be enough? Please tell me this is gonna be enough. It's really close. No. Okay, it's time for the solver. Let's buy the solver. Let's set it on first, and let's just get this thing done. We know that the solver is gonna win, and by oh wait, what? Wait, where did the first wave of ceramics go? What happened to what? Wait, let me just watch the second wave. Let me just kind of try and figure out what happened to these guys, because there was like an explosion with the first wave, right? It just disappeared in a second. Wait, do we have too many puddles on the track and that just happened to it? Oh my god, this tower is so good versus these guys. But look at the puddles. Look at the puddles go. There's so many of them on the track, and it's even dealing with mob class balloons. These guys are so good. So I bought an overclock, and I bought the overclock especially for Rosalia, not the solver, and I have her in this spot. So she's shooting down this straight line with the laser, and the idea is that the laser buffed up attack is going to first off get procced a lot more often, and then when it does, because it traveled down a straight line, it's going to do a knockback onto all of these guys. So, oh my god, the solver did not, the solver didn't even let any of the mob class balloons reach Rosalia. Okay, we're gonna need some more difficult rounds, it looks like. Okay, so we're getting to these more serious rounds, so let's see how we're gonna do on these ones. We have a bunch of, we're into free play. It's round 84. We have a bunch of BFBs and mobs, which should still not be a problem, but this is exactly what I wanted to do. So Rosalia does this knockback attack, and just the solver deals with everything. And I also have one more tower that I want to buy, and that's a tower that you don't see that often, I don't think, not only on this channel, but it's a tower that you don't see often, like ever. And that tower is this one. It's the Unstable Concoction. Now this, I think we're going for the larger potions, so let's go like this. Let's set it on stronger. Basically, the Unstable Concoction makes all these mob class balloons explode when they get popped, and this explosion does an AoE damage, and that's really nice because it's like not a bad tower, but the thing is you need to have a solution for all these small balloons that appear, right? And so we do have a small balloons solution when the Unstable Concoction pops, and that's gonna be the balloon solver plus Rosalia keeping all of them in place. So let me actually switch her to first for a second, because we don't seem to be popping these UMGs. abilities. Yeah, these guys have a lot of HP, but then, oh my god, here come the explosions. Yes, yes, exactly what I wanted to do. Oh my god, these two are such a nice combo, the Unstable Concoction and the Solver. Okay, so 45 mods, maybe this is gonna be a challenge. Let me overclock Rosalia, and look at these guys. These guys are just getting coated, and the explosion is just so good. It does so much damage. Now look at this tower. It's like a 130 tower. It's already at 33,000 pops, but this number is gonna go a lot higher. So that's kind of, you know, the problem with this thing. It's like a dice roll. So if we can deal with the small balloon, since it's 48,000 pops, by the way, if you can deal with the small balloon rush that comes out after the explosion happens, then you're good to go. And I feel like the Solver is the perfect tower for it. Let's see how we do versus these deities. They are going to be popping onto the small puddles, which is really nice. But again, do we have a solution for 95? I'm not exactly sure. So let's overclock Rosalia one more time. We're going to have a huge explosion now. Oh my god, so many BFBs. Look at these guys go. This is such a fun combo. Oh my god, these three towers. These are just so good together. And look at this. We don't even have some, you know, some special towers going with this thing. We only have like an overclock, and the overclock is being used in Rosalia just because the Solver doesn't even care. More deities incoming. Let's see how we do versus these guys. I think that if we pop the... Oh, look at this thing. Oh, we might have an issue actually. Wait a minute. Let's just set Rosalia to first. So they are popping with the glue. So the glue needs a little bit of time to actually go down onto these guys. But is this going to be a problem for 95 is my question. Let me just start getting ready for 95 with something like a Sabo, I think. Let's just buy it like this. And let me see how we do versus round 94. So this guy is set on... Yeah, I'm just checking if this guy's set on strong. So we want to have this guy on strong. Let me use the Sabo once actually. It is going to come off cooldown for the next round, so I don't mind using it like this. And we are about $7,000 off of our Ultra Boost, but so far it's so good. I don't see any issues with this one. Honestly, I feel like the knockback from Rosalia is just too good. And then the Solver is just going to town these small balloons. Yeah, there we go. That's round 94. Come on, guys. Actually, you know what? 94 popped so fast that this Sabo is not even coming off cooldown on time, is it? It's barely going to be there. It's still not off cooldown. Oh my god, wait a minute. So we're knocking back these DDTs with Rosalia. Let me just hit this thing. Let's just go on first. Is this even a good idea to go on first? I'm just gonna keep her on first just for a second in case some of these make it all the way around. But it seems like, you know what? It seems like the puddles are the MVP, right? Because as soon as these deities, they hit the puddles and they just pop. Wait a minute. What did Ninja Kiwi do to this tower with these puddles? What is happening? Why are these puddles so good? They're dealing with all these balloons, and look at this combo. There's an explosion. Look at this thing. So Rosalia is gonna activate the attack. It's gonna be a special attack, bumps everyone back, and then this guy, boom, the Unstable Concoction. What a strategy this is. I'm enjoying every second of this thing. That's so fun. Let's get the Ultra Boost. Let's start getting the Ultra Boost going onto Rosalia because the Balloon Solver doesn't seem to need it. And actually, we had a question that we saw in this video with, and that's, did you guys feel the nerf actually to the Balloon Solver? And the answer is no. I still have not felt the nerf. I feel like this Balloon Solver tower is as good as it was, and maybe, you know, maybe it did have a lot of pierce. Maybe it had so much pierce that it was actually in the unnecessary amounts. But oh my god, if there's a combo to try out, it's probably gonna be this one. Okay, so let's go all out into these guys. So let's use the level 10 ability actually from Rosalia. We don't have that much money, but I think that we don't care at this point. Let's start to last, and we do have the Sabo going. So I'm going to use the Sabo. I think I'm going to use the level 3 ability, and let's just hope for these big explosions because we can deal with this round in like a second if we had these good explosions. So the Balloon Solver is going to town onto the small balloons, and yeah, this is, I don't even see an issue with this one. I mean, this round 98 is being kept in a single spawn by all three of these towers. Let me just check the outcome. It's about 240,000 guys. We just bought this thing like 10 rounds ago or something like that. And yes, we are dealing with round 98, no problem. The Solver is at 1.2 million, which is obviously the one that's dealing with everything, and the plan is absolutely working. And as I'm saying those words, I'm seeing some 45 DDTs make it all the way around. Is this gonna be? No, please tell me we're gonna defend them. Yes, we barely did. Yes, that's so good. And finally, round 100, we absolutely do not have the damage, by the way, so let's hope that Rosalia is gonna be able to deal with these guys. So I'm gonna settle like that as soon as the flight boost ends. We should use the level 3 and the level 10 ability as well, just trying to do as much damage as possible. But yeah, we're not exactly, you know, doing that well versus Moab class balloons that have a lot of HP. Let's use the level 7 ability again, just because the cooldown is super low, and I really don't have a gauge on what's the HP onto this bat, because there's this like this pinkish thingy from the Unstable Concoction. So I know that we dealt a decent amount of damage to it, but it's still not enough to pop. Okay, so let's go like this. Let me just get a Spike Storm, and this should be more than enough. And I'm just waiting on a Bad Balloon to come in range. We have one more round of all of our abilities, so let's use this thing. Let's use all 3 of Rosalia's abilities, and this should be enough. I hope it is. Oh my god, those EDTs. And oh no, we lost the EDTs. Okay, one more try, but I did buy the hot spikes onto the Spike Factory, so let's use all abilities again, and we're gonna use the Sabo ammo this time, and it's not necessary because that's what we needed. We needed some DDT damage. Okay, so this combo is, I guess, good versus all of small balloons, and you can keep balloons in place, but it is not exactly spectacular versus bad balloons as expected. But again, you can solve the problem with something like this, with just like a single spike storm. This nerf from the Blue Solver, if the answer to the question is no, did you guys feel the nerf? I have the same answer. I did not notice that this thing is missing a couple of pierce, and honestly, this tower is just as good as it was, and maybe even better just because of this extra, you know, these puddles getting left on the track for an additional round. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.